When the group returned to safety, they likely shared the spoils communally. Early humans were not only survivalists but also social creatures. Sharing food reinforced bonds of trust, strengthened alliances, and made it clear that survival wasn't just an individual battle, it was a group achievement. Around the fire, stories may have been told through gestures, reenacting the daring act. In this way, the event became not just sustenance but also culture. Yet, success also brought consequences. Predators, having lost their prize, may have followed the scent. The group's triumph could turn into a new cycle of danger, forcing them to stay on the move. This balance of gain and risk mirrored the rhythm of life in the prehistoric world. Every achievement came with new challenges. The egg incident may also have planted the seeds of deeper problem-solving. If they could take such risks once, what other strategies might work? Could they defend themselves better, find safer ways to gather food, or design tools that made survival less precarious? Each success carved the path toward more complex thought, more sophisticated tools, and stronger social bonds. The story of the giant egg is more than just an isolated adventure. It is a window into the evolutionary legacy of Homo habilis. While the species itself would eventually vanish, their actions represent the first steps toward human intelligence as we know it. The event highlighted three critical evolutionary traits. Curiosity, they dared to approach something unusual, even when danger loomed. Cooperation, success required unity, communication, and trust among members. Innovation, they used their limited tools and cleverness to turn a near-impossible situation into an opportunity. These qualities would later be refined by descendants like Homo erectus and eventually Homo sapiens, but the foundation was laid here. The egg retrieval was not just about food. It was about pushing boundaries, testing limits, and discovering that humans could alter their fate through choice and strategy, not just instinct. From a broader perspective, this event also reflects the rhythm of human survival, a constant negotiation between danger and opportunity. The predators always loomed, the environment was always harsh, but within that struggle lay the chance to innovate. Every daring attempt became a stepping stone for future generations, shaping the path from vulnerable scavengers to dominant survivors. Thus, the dangerous plan for the giant egg is more than a prehistoric anecdote. It is a story about the birth of human courage and intelligence, about how even in the harshest conditions, our ancestors found ways to outthink, outmaneuver, and endure. Without such moments of boldness, humanity's evolutionary journey might have ended before it truly began. What followed likely changed the fate of those who attempted it. If they succeeded, the resources they gained, nutrients and morale, could have boosted the group's survival prospects. More than mere survival, this event might have reinforced group cohesion and confidence in their collective intelligence. Even if the plan failed, perhaps the egg remained out of reach or triggered a predator's attack. The act itself is revealing. Invention often springs from risk, and early humans were no strangers to that. These adaptations paved the way for future innovation. Improved tools, older technology, better cooperation, and a growing capacity to foresee and navigate dangers. This episode embodies a broader truth. Homo habilis may have lacked modern strength or organization, but their legacy lies in their willingness to challenge the unknown and seize potential. Their story is not merely about an egg. It's a window into how our ancestors gradually transformed from vulnerable primates into strategic survivors. The retrieval of the giant egg was not a simple matter of courage or cleverness. It was a direct challenge to nature's fiercest guardians. Predators in this era were relentless. Saber-toothed cats, giant hyenas, and monstrous birds of prey roamed the same landscapes as Homo habilis. For them, the egg wasn't just food. It was survival. So, when early humans approached, they weren't just trespassing. They were intruding on a predator's territory. The group had to rely on team dynamics. One member might have served as a lookout, scanning for sudden movement in the tall grasses. Others worked carefully, inching closer to the egg. They carried stones and branches, primitive tools, not weapons in the modern sense, but effective enough to intimidate smaller creatures or at least buy precious seconds to escape. Predators likely circled nearby, their growls echoing through the night. Tension built with every step. One wrong move, a broken branch, a panicked cry, and the predators could rush in. This constant proximity to danger pushed Homo habilis to refine their awareness, learning to read animal behavior, anticipate attacks, and use group unity to create a presence larger than themselves. In many ways, this part of the story is a turning point. Here, we see the earliest sparks of strategy in survival, not just instinct. By daring to confront predators indirectly, Homo habilis began to carve out their identity as a species capable of more than just running or hiding. They were learning to balance fear with calculated bravery, a skill that would echo throughout human evolution. Against staggering odds, the group managed to secure the egg. This victory was monumental, not just because of the nourishment it promised, but because of what it symbolized. Food was life, and this egg represented abundance in a world where hunger was constant. The narrative begins around 2.4 million years ago, during a pivotal era in human evolution when Homo habilis roamed Earth. This early hominin species was among the first of the genus Homo, recognized for their increased cranial capacity and budding tool usage. At this juncture, the world was harsh and perilous, marked by predatory threats, unpredictable natural elements, and fierce competition for survival. Homo habilis faced significant vulnerabilities. Thanks to their limited physical strength and primitive social structures, they remained prey to larger predators. Yet, it was precisely this environment, brutal but selective, that fostered their evolutionary leaps. Their emerging cognitive abilities wouldn't just help them survive. They opened new pathways for adapting to a world that tested their limits at every turn. Amid this precarious existence, Homo habilis stumbled upon something extraordinary: a giant egg. Though the video doesn't specify its origin, its enormity suggests a creature far different from any familiar today, perhaps a prehistoric reptile or avian ancestor. Such a find would have been as enigmatic as it was irresistible. Despite danger, these hominins devised a risky plan: to exploit this egg. Their motivations were clear. Inside lay a potentially rich source of nourishment, perhaps even offspring that could strengthen their social band. But retrieving that egg wasn't for the faint-hearted. Predators guarded it, or it lay in a treacherous area, hence the dangerous plan descriptor. This daring move underscores humanity's early ingenuity. Faced with massive risk, Homo habilis tapped into problem-solving, situational awareness, and cautious coordination. It wasn't merely about brute force. It was about assessing danger, leveraging opportunity, and acting with collective purpose. Imagine the tension as Homo habilis executed their strategy. They likely approached under cover of low light, employing silent communication or distraction. Every rustle might summon predators. Every wrong move could spell disaster. Their primitive tools may have helped, perhaps leveraging sticks or rocks to shift the egg or trigger an opening. Their hands, though not as capable as later species, had enough dexterity to manipulate objects. Perhaps they dug a shallow trench or used vegetation to cushion their approach, and still remained ready to flee at a moment's notice. This scene is a dramatic portrait of adaptation. Under extreme pressure, early hominins displayed traits we recognize as fundamentally human: ingenuity, patience, stealth, and cooperation. The plan's success or its failure hinged on their ability to act in concert, remain vigilant, and balance risk with reward.